The astonishing discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It is one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century. Hidden in caves in the desert, the Dead Sea Scrolls were identified as ancient Jewish manuscripts, the only known surviving biblical documents written before 100 BC. Discovered in 1946 by Bedouin shepherds, the parchment scrolls have immense historical, religious and linguistic significance, and shed light on events that took place over 2,000 years ago. Let's have a look at the gallery now. In 1946, 3 Bedouin shepherds chanced upon a collection of ceramic jars in a cave at Wadi Qumran near the Dead Sea. One of the shepherds, Mohammed Edhidib, volunteered to retrieve the jars. Curious, he opened one of the vessels and discovered inside a handful of parchment scrolls. Not realizing how important they were, the shepherd took the scrolls, which numbered 7 in total, back to his desert camp for keepsake. Eventually, he decided to sell the documents, which subsequently changed hands over the next 12 months. In 1947, the scrolls caught the attention of American biblical scholar and archaeologist John C. Trevor, who quickly realized the historical importance of these rare finds. The following year, the discovery was announced to an astonished world. What had been uncovered were manuscripts of immeasurable religious and historical significance, and subsequently declared as the only known biblical document written before 100 BC. By the end of 1948, scholars had yet to identify the original cave where the fragments had been found. In 1948, Arab-Israeli war hampered all efforts to identify the site, but in 1949, Cave 1, as it became known, was rediscovered. The Cave 1 site yielded further Dead Sea Scroll fragments, plus linen cloth, jars and other artifacts. In November 1951, a full excavation of Qumran had commenced. By the end of 1952, 5 more caves had been discovered, each giving up yet more scrolls and fragments. In fact, 90% of the total number of scrolls discovered were found in Cave 4. Among the manuscripts Bedouin shepherd Mohammed Edu Dihib had initially retrieved was the Isaiah scroll, which contains almost the whole book of Isaiah. This is the oldest complete copy of the book of Isaiah, written on 17 sheets of parchment. It is the only scroll from the Qumran caves to be preserved almost in its entirety. That initial 1946 discovery also unearthed the Habakkuk commentary, a pesha, a type of commentary in Hebrew, written sometime in the latter half of the 1st century. Another of the original finds included the Genesis Apocryphon. The document records a conversation between the biblical figure Lamech, son of Methuselah, and his son Noah. Between 1951 and 1956, 11 caves in Qumran were identified as depositories for their various scrolls by a team from the American Schools of Oriental Research headed by Roland DeVoe. Interestingly, the existence of the Damascus document found in Cave 4 in 1952 was already known to scholars. 2 fragments had previously been found in 1897 as part of the Cairo Geniza collection of manuscripts discovered in a synagogue in Egypt. To this day, lively debate surrounds the origin of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The general view among biblical scholars is that the scrolls were the product of a sect of Jews living at Qumran called the Essenes, or the Essenes. The text of the Dead Sea Scrolls is written in 4 different languages: Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek and Nabatean. In all, scholars have assembled a collection of nearly 900 separate scrolls from the 11 caves. Unfortunately, the majority of the scrolls consist of tiny, brittle fragments. The aforementioned Isaiah's scroll is the exception. It measures about 24 foot long and ranges from 25 to 27 centimetres high, with 54 columns of text. The 7 original scrolls are housed in the purpose-built Shrine of the Book, with the Isaiah scroll a central exhibit. Also housed there is the Aleppo Codex, a medieval bound manuscript of the Hebrew Bible. The shrine's unique white dome embodies the lids of the jars in which the first scrolls were found. The Shrine of the Book is part of the Israeli Museum, located in Jerusalem. Since their discovery, small portions of the Dead Sea Scrolls have been put on temporary display in exhibitions at museums all over the world. Pictured above is a queue of people outside the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. for the very first touring exhibition back in 1965. Pictured above is a previously unreadable fragment of the Dead Sea Scrolls, photographed by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory at NASA in the early 1990s using digital infrared technology. The fragment, translated into English, reads, "He wrote the words of Noah." By 2008, fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls were being photographed digitally with the aim of making the 2,000-year-old documents available to the public and researchers on the internet. A conservation analyst from the Israeli Antiques Authorities examines fragments of the 2,000-year-old Dead Sea Scrolls at a laboratory before photographing them. In 2011, Israel put 5,000 fragments of the ancient Dead Sea Scrolls online in a partnership with Google. Today, anyone with an interest in the history of the scrolls can view a digital archive of images and read more about one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century. In 2017, archaeologists stumbled across another cave on cliffs in West Qumran. However, closer examination revealed that Cave 12 had been plundered, probably in the 1950s. Sadly, the scrolls it undoubtedly concealed are believed lost forever.